you guys, my name is Cyan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can tell, today we're doing another fun reading challenge type of video for the week, and that is going to be hide and go seek. I haven't seen anyone else do this. If they have, let me know, but I feel like this is the first original thought that I've had for a reading challenge ever on my channel, so I'm pretty excited for it. What we're going to be doing for hide and go seek is I have picked out 6 books. My lovely husband is going to be hiding them throughout our home, and the first 3 that I pick in the order that I picked them are going to be the 3 that I have to read this week. I think it would be kind of fun to do. It's taking us back to our childhood roots, and also it's a way for my husband to be involved without having to be on camera because he doesn't want to, so I'm going to respect his wishes. But let's talk about first the 6 books that I could potentially be reading this week. So the first one is actually Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. At the time I'm filming this is the week of Halloween, so I did kind of want to throw in some more spooky books, and it's mystery slash thriller. Although I will say I haven't heard the greatest things about it, but sometimes the Riley Sager books that other people kind of don't like, I end up loving, and then the ones that people love, I'm not the biggest fan of. So maybe this will turn out to be one of those. We will see, or we won't if I don't find it first. Then I picked out another fantasy. This is one that I actually bought after seeing a TikTok about it, and then afterwards I realized that the TikTok was actually from the author, but the TikTok that she posted, the marketing was good, because obviously it got me. Either her marketing was good or I am very easily influenced, but either way, that book is The Dread Descendant by Lauren Kate Leake. I haven't heard anyone else talk about this. Like I said, I'm just very easily influenced, so I bought it. Don't really know what it's about, but the TikTok that I saw, it just seemed like it's gonna be a great enemies to lovers with fantastic banter, so I'm excited to eventually get into this one. This next book, I literally don't know why, but recently I just looked at it and I had this urge to pick this series back up. It is a series that everyone and their mother has read and loved, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not loving it. And so, you know, if the urge just randomly came, I felt like I needed to act on it pretty quickly or else it's gonna go away and the series will potentially never get read, and that is the Shatter Me series. Yeah, I know, everyone loves it. I feel like it's just not my thing so far, but apparently this is the best book out of the series and everyone's favorite, so maybe I just need to pick it up and I'll finally understand what the hype is. And then, like I said, since it's Halloween week, I had to throw in another little Halloween themed book, but this one is witchy, and it's The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. This is the 3rd and final book in like a holiday Halloween trilogy. They're all witchy romances. They're pretty fun. I liked the other 2. Are they fantastic romances? No, but I have a hard time loving any holiday themed romance. They're just fun times, you know? So I did like them, although this one is giving me mixed signals because I feel like that screams Christmas to me. Maybe it's like a Nightmare Before Christmas situation where some people think that movie is a Halloween movie and some people think it's a Christmas movie. Maybe this book is like on that line as well. Who knows? We'll see. Or we won't, again. And then I threw in another romance, that is Garnet Flats by Devney Perry. I have already started the Eden series. This is the 3rd in the series. I don't know anything about any of these before I go into them, just that they're small town. They have a little bit of a mystery element to them, and I kind of like them so far. They're not great, but they're fun, easy reads, and I love them for palate cleansers. So obviously this is the next one in the series that I have. I wanted to throw it in there as an option as well. And then the last option is actually Never by Jessa Hastings. I just finished the 4th book in the Magnolia Park series, The Daisy Hates, The Great Undoing, and it really solidified my love for her writing. I'll talk more about that in my wrap up, but after reading that, I wanted to get this book because I also heard some controversial takes on it. I have seen some negativity around this book, but I have also seen the author as well as other readers kind of rationalize what people were talking negatively about it and saying that there was a reason why it was included and that it relates a lot to the Peter Pan that this was modeled after. I did not read that Peter Pan, but still, now that I know that, I'm curious to see how my thoughts and opinions are going to be on it. So yeah, those are our 6 options for the week. Now let's go play hide and go seek. The only rules were that the books couldn't be on a bookshelf because I would never find them on the bookshelf. And the second rule is that they can't be hidden anywhere dirty or where the books could get damaged, obviously, you know, like don't put my book in the oven or something like that. Those are my only rules for my husband, and I actually did already film this part 2 days ago, but I'm just now getting around to reading. So let's go back to when we played hide and go seek and see what our winners are. I'm in my kitchen, obviously. My initial thought was that he is tall, so he would hide a book possibly up there, but that's not the case. Also, this can't be good for my posture, so I'm gonna get down now. I have checked possibly every single cabinet in our kitchen, and there's nothing there. Going back to the fact that he's tall, I feel like he's like that tall, you know? I've spotted the bread box on top of our fridge. I was right. Oh my goodness, the first book we have is literally Ignite Me. Okay, we have run into a second issue. Parker literally said that he can't remember where he hid things, but he did say there was two in the kitchen and that the books are inside of things. But I've checked every single cabinet. I've checked the oven, the microwave, the fridge. I don't know why he'd put it in there. Okay, another thing, his lunchbox is right there. You guys, I might be good at this. How did I know? How did I know? I only had to search everything else first, but okay, we have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This will be our second read. Perfect. I have checked the entirety of our living room and he said that I am not going to find it in here at all. So, of course, naturally, I want to find it even more, but I feel like I need to take a break and check upstairs because he literally said it is not on this half of the living room, but it's on this half of the living room. This is the only other half of our living room, and I checked all around this. Sorry. I need to burp for a second. I have made it to our bedroom. Parker says that the other three books are in here. And I know him. He wouldn't hide it in obvious places like our dressers or our drawers or anything like that. So I really have no idea where to look. I mean, the closet's right here. Should we look in the closet? Nope, not in there. I know where it is. I knew it. I'm so good at this. Can you see that? What is it? Okay, gentle. Ooh, I think that just kind of bit that pretty bad. Don't worry, I'll flatten it out. But lo and behold, our next read. And that's it. Those are the three that we're going to be reading. I still want to find the other three because I'm determined. Because this is where I would try to hide it. My brain is going to the windows. I don't know how you hide a book on a window, but we shall see. Okay, no, but why are our blinds open? Let me change that real quick. If this is teaching me anything, it's that we need to dust. Let's check the other window just in case. I'm a genius. You can't tell me otherwise. We have never. Not reading it for this video unless maybe I have the time to. We will see. And then, like I said, he said there is a third one in this room. This may be cheating, but we're technically done with the game because I found the three books that I'm going to be reading, possibly four, but he said it's in the closet. I already checked, but we'll find it again. I just feel like it looks like it always does. Found it. So now I know for sure the final book is in our living room. We're gonna find it. I'm literally about to have a meltdown because basically he gave it away and said that it's somewhere over here. And I've searched every single drawer, looked behind the TV, somehow like stuck my hand under there thinking that maybe there was like a hidden spot I didn't know about. Nothing. And then he said it's not in anything. How is it not when this is a dresser? I feel like he's messing with me. I don't like it, but let's keep looking. Can you guys find it? I just found it. You see, sometimes you just have to take a step back. Okay, so as you guys saw, we have our three books picked out. The first one is going to be Ignite Me. This, I believe it's the third book in the Shatter Me series. I have been reading the novellas. I think there's only like maybe one or two leading up to this book. And I'm glad it's our first pick because, like I said, I've been having the urge. I don't want that urge to go away. Let's see if I can finally become a Shatter Me girly. I know everyone has probably already read the Shatter Me series, but because this is a series, I'm going to try to talk about this book in a way where I don't give away any spoilers, if that's even possible. But basically, this is a dystopian novel, so in this world, we have Juliet, our main character. She has this deadly power where anyone that she touches just starts getting this incomprehensible amount of pain, and eventually, the longer she touches them, they can die. She ends up hurting someone when she is like a teenager, and she gets thrown into this asylum facility type thing thing, basically a prison, and this world is falling to dust, right? It's just everything is in shambles. Think of like a ghost town with remnants of buildings that have been blown up and stuff like that. It's very bad, and the people are starving and hungry. Then they have the reestablishment, which is their government. The government is very bad, obviously, very powerful people who care about the wrong things. They take Juliet because they want to be able to use her as a weapon. So that's what we're going through. Obviously, there's a lot more that happens throughout the series, and there is a love triangle. I don't know, is that a spoiler? Because some people think that like the tropes are spoilers, some people think they aren't. Either way, I said it already, there's a love triangle in this book. So far, like, nothing is happening. It's just a whole lot of this, which, don't get me wrong, obviously I love a good yap. In my books, I don't. I want them to be doing something, and literally it took up until chapter 14 for them to even leave a bedroom and stop talking. I don't understand it, and right now it's just like this love triangle, I guess, is getting more drama filled because the boys are just going back and forth, and it's like a power struggle, and they act like they have the right to Juliet. Juliet doesn't even know what she wants, and it's just a big old mess. And honestly, I don't like any of our characters. Juliet is very whiny, and then sometimes she'll just randomly be like, I'm so powerful, I'm going to save the world and end the reestablishment. And she's like 18, and like, I get it, it's fiction, it's not that deep, but I can't whenever these are teenagers. But in this one, they definitely act their age, but it's just crazy that they have so much power and control over things at such a young age, and because they're not mature, despite the world that they live in and the fact that they should have grown up pretty quick, if this is making sense. It's just so juvenile to me, and like I said, nothing's happening. I feel like people might love this book the most because the relationships are getting a little bit more developed, but right now it's not doing it for me. I guess we'll have to see what my final thoughts are, but that's where I stand right now. I will say though, out of this entire series, one bright light is definitely Kenji. I love Kenji's character. Number one, because he's just funny, and number two, he literally calls Juliet a crybaby. Like, he's the only one that tells her that she is, and I'm like, same Kenji. I don't really like her either. And I also like their relationship because they do develop a friendship, you know, but that's like the only bright light for me in this series. But anyways, enough of me basically dogging this book. Let's keep reading and hopefully finish it today. So don't hate me, but I think my time with the Shatter Me series has officially come to an end. I just can't do it anymore. Now, I will say I can deal with some very juvenile books, but for this series, everything is just so dragged out. Still, there was not a lot of action until like the last 15% of this book, and I just needed more. I didn't love the dialogue between the characters. I think a big issue of why I found it overly juvenile compared to other YA books that I've read is also because I did listen to a good chunk of this through an audiobook, and the audiobook narrator, no hate to her whatsoever because she did a perfect job, but it just solidified how young these characters felt in my mind, and I couldn't see someone at their age doing these things. Like, I'm not even kidding, the audiobook narrator sounded like a little girl in my eyes. So I think if I read all of it and just was able to kind of alter the characters to my liking while envisioning it and reading it in my head, it would have been better, but it's just not for me. Okay, some of the dialogue is so cringy, the romance isn't my favorite. I'm also confused on why it's a YA book because it does have some smut in there. It's not like fully in detail, but there's still like some details. I will say I feel like she outlines the foreplay, I guess, more than the actual deed, but like, it's in there, you know, so I'm kind of confused on that too. It feels wrong, like maybe, you know, I should leave the room whenever those scenes happen and give these characters some privacy. But yeah, I don't know, I just can't with this series because once again, Juliet is so whiny, and then towards the end she just randomly saves the day. Why? Also, there's like a bunch of reveals that happen throughout this series, and the thing is, it's like if you read the novellas, you already know the reveals, so then when it's actually revealed to the characters. It's not as dramatic, if that makes sense. And like, I just can't with this, okay? This book was way too dragged out. There was too much talking. The boys were just trying to argue with each other about who's more macho than the other, and God, the dialogue was so cringy sometimes. So yeah, for me, this was not terrible. It is still like a 3-star, but I just can't do this series anymore. So that's that one. I'm sorry if you love this series. I hope you do actually, and I hope that you have a grand old time reading it, but it's just not something that I'm into. So yeah, unfortunately that is that. But now we can start our next read. And of course, as you guys saw, our next read is going to be Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I wanted the paperback and I didn't realize that it was this big of font. Like, are you kidding me? I could see that from outer space. It's actually so big that it's kind of giving me a headache, but anyways, doesn't really matter. This is our next read. Let's get into it. am 50% of the way through Middle of the Night. In this book, we are following Ethan. When he is 10 years old, he's having a sleepover. Him and his best friend Billy are camping out in his backyard. That night, Billy goes missing and is never seen or heard from again. Everyone just presumes that he is dead. It is now 30 years later. Ethan ends up moving back into his family home and they find Billy's body. And at the same time, all of these weird things that Billy kind of used to do keep popping back in, which kind of leads you to think that maybe something supernatural is going on and it's affecting Ethan in a harsh way. He's also having these nightmares repeatedly about the night that Billy went missing and stuff. And at the same time, we're getting like past and present information about this town, all of the people that live there, because it's like a very close-knit community of a bunch of rich people that like have just always lived there. Now that they're older, it's like you're seeing how their friend group was back then and then them kind of reconnecting through learning more about this Billy case. And it also alludes to the fact that someone in the group might be suspicious and that all of them had an instance in the past of something that happened that revolves around Billy. Is this adding up? So it's kind of like a I know what you did last summer, but 30 years later. But anyways, it's okay. It does move at a pretty slow pace. It does tend to be a little bit boring at times because there is so much background information about this town and these people. And I also just don't love it so far, but we will see. I will say it's not something that is really catching my attention. So all these like weird little things that keep happening, I just don't care. Don't think it's going to be my favorite Riley Sager book, but we're going to keep going and see what happens. So last night I did finish Middle of the Night, and I would say that I have to agree with some of the other reviews that I've seen on this book, which is just that the plot twist was very overwhelming and a majority of this book moved at a super slow, kind of boring pace for me. It's definitely not my favorite Riley Sager book. He does have some bangers, I will say that, but this unfortunately is just not one of them. I don't know. It was like his first time having a male as the main character, and honestly, I don't think it was that. I think it was just the whole premise of the story where, you know, these like small weird little things kept happening and then you knew that there was a secret but you didn't really know what it was, and everyone was kind of suspicious in their own way, and like you just got so much background information on this town and these people that I felt was a little bit unnecessary. So yeah, it's definitely not my favorite from him. I would say this one is still not terrible, but it is just sitting at like a 3-star for me. I'm probably never gonna think about this one again. So there you have it. But now we have our last book for the video because today is actually Halloween and I want to end this on the end of the month. You know, I don't want to have like my October wrap up have one less from this video. You don't care. You literally don't care. So anyways, let's start our next book, which is of course Garnet Flats by Devney Perry. Know nothing about it, but it seems fun. So let's just get into it. It's not really giving Halloween vibes, but I don't really care. I'm down for it. Okay, I'm actually home on my lunch break. I've been reading majority of this at work, but I thought I would give you guys a 50% update because I am 50% of the way through. In this book, we are following Talia and Foster. They used to date in college for like a year. It is now years later, 7 or 8 years later, I want to say. He moves to town with the agenda to completely win her back. And we know that their past something happened and like why they broke up was honestly very freaking valid, but I'm sure he's gonna end up explaining what he did away and everything will be all hunky-dory, right? But I will say it is kind of like keeping it a secret. Like there's definitely some miscommunication. He won't just outright tell her why he did what he did, which is pretty annoying. It takes like a while for him to actually even mention it to us, so it's hard to like him right away when you don't know exactly why he did those things. But he's actually like a professional boxer, so that's like an interesting aspect of it. Talia works as a doctor and you're just seeing like these little interactions with them when he moves back into town, and it's kind of like a back and forth because obviously she still has feelings for him as well, but she keeps like asking him to leave town for whatever reason. And she's definitely more of like our reserved character. We've seen her a bit in the other books and she's not very open with her feelings. She also has a twin sister, so like you see the dynamic between them two and how even to her own twin she finds it hard to open up to her. And then of course you're getting Foster's point of view. He actually is a father, so you're seeing him with his child, him getting prepared for a big fighting match that's coming up, and also him trying to win Talia over, and that's pretty much it. I will say though, I'm actually really enjoying it. I feel like the way I just talked about it, it seems like I'm not, but I am. Although all of the books in this series are pretty insta-lovey. Like I get it in this sense because they had a past relationship and the feelings are still there, but like they don't need to immediately hook up with each other, you know what I mean? So like it's kind of crazy. They have like a lot of past trauma. Why are they already like hooking up with each other the moment they see each other again? I don't love that, but it's fun. It's just such a quick, easy read, and I swear to you, you could read any of these books in like one sitting. They're not that deep. They're fun. I don't think this one has a little bit of like a mystery element to it, or at least it doesn't so far. So yeah, we will see though. Okay, so last night I finished Garnet Flats by Devney Perry. I think this one was one of my favorites out of the series, although there were a few things that I didn't like. So first off, the miscommunication trope is definitely a big trope in this book, which isn't my favorite, but about like 50% of the way through it kind of gets resolved. There is a little bit of like mafia stuff going on in here randomly, which was a bit confusing, but like it also made sense at the same time. I don't know. Anyways, I liked our characters a lot. I think they had good personalities. I will say I don't really think like it was a bantery relationship whatsoever. That part did kind of fall a little bit flat, but overall, I mean, I just had fun while reading it. I think it's like a 3.75 maybe. I think all of them in the series are like a 3.75 so far. I feel like I've definitely said that in the other videos as well. Like they're good, but they're not great. Another issue though that I do have with this is that I really love found family throughout a story, and this is the Edens. So like you're supposed to see a lot of the other characters from the other books, and we didn't. We did not really see the other family members. We've seen like little snippets of them, but from the other two books, I already know and like our other characters, so I would have preferred to see them more in this book. That's just one thing that I think would have made it a whole lot better. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting story, and I would recommend this entire series. So that is that one, and that's our video for the week. I hope that you guys had fun. I had fun when we played hide and go seek with this, but let's do a wrap up real quick. First off, Shatter Me, 3 stars. My time is over with the series. I just can't do it. Then we read Middle of the Night. This was a middle of the road book for sure. Another just 3 stars for me. And then we read Garnet Flats. This is a 3.75, maybe a 3.5. I don't really know at this point. They're just all okay and good, fun, fast filler books. So those are all the books we read. It wasn't the greatest reading week, but honestly, I still had a fun time. No regrets were had, so that's that. If you read any of these books, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Let me have some recommendations if you have any. And yeah, I hope you all liked the video, and I hope you all have a great rest of your reading week and just a great week in general. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!